My country's a fucking joke, man. It's a fucking joke. Parents told they can swap toddler sex in Scottish consensus. Isn't that great? Isn't that great? Like, right, toddlers don't, they don't even grasp that fucking concept. They don't grasp that fucking concept. This is, hey, yeah, you can just totally decide your toddler's gender for them. I thought this is something that these types were like against. I thought, it's actually up to the person what gender they are. I mean, you wouldn't want your fucking parents picking that. I wouldn't let my fucking parents pick my clothes, man. I wouldn't let my mum pick what to get for the takeaway. Never mind pick my fucking gender. But you're letting the parents do it for them. I mean, it just cements the thing is, see when there's a child who's like trans, when we, what was it? What was the joke that was made? It's like someone having a vegan cat. We all know who's making that decision. I forget who made that joke. Was it Gervais? I can't remember. Scottish parents completing census forms are being advised they can assign the sex of their children, including toddlers, according to what describes them better. Do you know what describes them really well? Fucking genitals. Genitals describes them well. I think that's good for telling you what gender the child is. I'm just saying, I'm not a scientist. I'm not a scientist. However, you know, I'm just saying because the toddler cannot decide for themselves. But oh, good lord, fucking god, if you've got parents like that, God help you. After losing a legal fight to require adults completing the survey tomorrow to disclose their biological sex rather than their self defined gender, campaigners have reacted angrily to the news that the sex recorded for young dependents does not have to match official records such as their birth certificate, thereby rendering the census bullshit. Right. Oh, you don't have to put accurate information on the census. Cool. So that means when the results come out, we can't trust them, thereby making the census utterly pointless. Critics claim that the approach seriously harms the quality of data collection. Yeah, okay, yeah. No, I just said that article. Fucking stealing my thunder. And may make it more difficult to plan services, including healthcare, which is, the census isn't just, oh, that's interesting. It goes into like planning things that the government plans to do. Things like it could be anything down to like schools, healthcare, dental care, like wee things like that. But there's a bunch of different things that when they're planned out, it's based on the census. The feminist campaign group, I can already tell that they're going to have some fair demands. Fair play for women. Fair play, isn't that ironic? Called the latest advice to parents an example of where the Scottish Government's obsession with self identification takes us. In an online helpline conversation with a Scotland's Census 2022 agent, one parent asked for advice because they were raising their toddler to be gender neutral and don't want to assign a sex to them because they are not showing strong identification with being a boy or a girl at the moment. They are a toddler. They are a fucking toddler. They drool, they grab things and yell at them. Sometimes they'll play with toys and all that type of shit. Right? That doesn't mean shit. They don't understand it. This is At first, the parent was told they could use the sex registered on their official documents, such as passport or birth certificate. The parent asked, but we don't have to if it doesn't seem right for them and we think the other describes them better. The agent, after looking into the issue further, replied, correct, go with what you feel describes them better, thereby basically the agents completely destroyed the very thing that they're working for. National Records of Scotland says that the census sex question, if you are answering for someone else, where possible, you should ask them how they want to answer, which toddlers can't do. If they are away, select the answer you think they would choose. You do not need to know or ask whether they have a gender recognition certificate. Megan Gallagher, the Scottish Conservative MP, voiced concerns at the development. She said, it is understandable that parents are concerned about this advice being given out in relation to the census. This could potentially put many parents in a situation where they feel uncomfortable. It is not the sort of conversation they will want to have with their children at such a young age. Toddlers only know like a few hundred words. The census is vital for finding out the characteristics of the nation, but advice like this could put some individuals off of filling it in. I'm not going to bother filling out the census since why does it matter anyway? This shit's just rendered like the information incorrect. So Legit, what's the point? Dr. Nicola Williams, FPFW director, says that because the data collected for sex in the census can be based on self-ID, it meant some men in Scotland would be counted as female and boys as girls, and vice versa. In the rest of the UK, the 2021 census asks a binary choice sex question with the only possible answers being male or female. After a successful legal challenge by the FPFW, the group recently lost a similar legal challenge to the Scottish Government's advice on the census, allowing people to self-identify their gender. Williams maintained that important data will be lost, never to be regained or disentangled later, adding equality monitoring and the ability of public bodies to fulfil their obligations to uphold fairness for all will be seriously impeded. The Equality Network, which supports the census wording, was approached for comment, and again, they did the smart thing of not talking to journalists, which, okay, I get it. However, this is disgraceful. I'm starting to get sick of adults deciding sexual shit for children, right? Unless the decision is no sexual contact whatsoever, then in that case, that's absolutely fine. However, this whole, my boy is actually a girl, he picked up a Barbie once, and oh no, I make him wear dresses. Oh yeah, he's not going to make it past he's 14. You're going to find him hanging from his cupboard with a belt. But stuff like this, I just think is just going to completely damage children. Like, telling them, oh, you're not a boy or a girl, or we decided this for you and everything. Like, the parents deciding shit like that is not only is it abhorrent, and it's going to like mess the child up, where children are going to grow up with no understanding of gender, like whatsoever. Right? It's weird. Look, I'm sorry, this shit is weird. It's really fucking strange. What is it with the Scottish Government and like weird sexual shit with kids? Right? It's like, the thing is, oh, we're going to do like a fucking sex survey of like kids in fucking school and asking like 12-year-olds and 13-year-olds, like, have you had anal sex, and all this like weird shit, like that you don't need to fucking know, right? It's just shit it's strange. It's strange, and I do not fucking like it, right? I'm worried about raising a child in Scotland if there's all this fucking sex shit in school, right? Bit of personal information. My niece, who's like 8 years old, came home telling my sister that she was bisexual. 8 years old. 8 years old. Where did you get that information from? We spoke to the teacher in school and blah, 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 and all this fucking crap, right? And it's like, why is this type of shit? Why is like sexual shit being explained to fucking 8-year-olds? Why is that a thing? Why is that happening? And then after some further questioning about, oh, what is bisexual then? She had no idea what it fucking was. Right, so it was a lot of fucking shite. I'm bisexual. No, you're not. You just learned a new fucking word today. You want to look cool and interesting. Right? But why are teachers having discussions like this? See if it gets to that point where, puberty's starting to kick in, and you may notice hair where you noticed where you didn't have any before. It won't be on your fucking head, but it'll be fucking elsewhere, right? But see, when the puberty kicks in and the thoughts kick in. We all remember when that happened, when we're like, hey, girls are actually kind of cute. I used to think they were gross, but they're quite nice now. Like, see when that kicks in, then it's a case of bring them in and go, wear a condom. If you get some fucking girl pregnant when you're 15, I am going to rip your fucking head off, you dumb little prick. Right? That's when you have that chat. That's when you have that chat. 8 years old, no. It's weird. Right? It's weird. You do not have conversations like that with an 8-year-old, right? It's fucking strange. Right? And it all boils down to, like, I still... There's this whole... See how, children can consent to this type of stuff, and they can decide their bodies for themselves. That, to me, it just sounds like a stepping stone to, I wonder what else children could consent to. I wonder what else children will be able to decide to do with their own bodies. And there's a saying, it's not rocket science, people. Some of them are just evil and want to diddle kids.